Across North America, the American bison once roamed freely, its hooves thundering across the plains. Today, thanks to conservation efforts, bison numbers are slowly recovering, symbolizing the resilience of nature. For Native American tribes, the bison held deep cultural and spiritual significance. Conservationists recognized the urgency and took action to protect the remaining bison, pulling them back from the brink of extinction. The bison was a sacred symbol woven deeply into the fabric of Native American culture. Their relationship with the bison fostered a deep understanding and respect for the natural world. The bison became a powerful symbol of the untamed frontier, embodying the spirit of the Wild West. However, the bison's story became a tragic tale of exploitation and the devastating consequences of unchecked human ambition. The arrival of European settlers marked a turning point, nearly driving the bison to extinction. The bison, a keystone species, became increasingly vulnerable as their numbers dwindled. The American bison possesses unique adaptations that have allowed it to thrive in the challenging environment of grasslands. Their shaggy, thick coat offers insulation from the extremes of temperature that characterize the plains. American bison are highly social animals, living in herds with complex social structures. Communication within the herd is a complex interplay of vocalizations, body language, and scent marking. American bison are remarkably adaptable, capable of withstanding a wide range of environmental conditions. Their nomadic lifestyle prevents overgrazing, ensuring a sustainable food supply for the herd. The immense size of bison herds offers numerous advantages, enhancing their survival. Living in large herds provides bison with significant protection against predators and the elements. The American bison is a keystone species, playing a crucial role in maintaining the health and biodiversity of the prairie ecosystem. Their grazing habits and role as a prey species contribute to the ecological balance of the plains. The American bison's influence on the prairie landscape extends far beyond their grazing habits. Their very presence, combined with their natural behaviors, shapes the physical structure of the grasslands, creating a dynamic and ever-changing environment. Their impact can be seen in the rolling hills, the meandering streams, and the mosaic of habitats that define the prairie ecosystem. One of the most visible ways bison shape the landscape is through their wallowing behavior. Bison create depressions in the ground by rolling on their backs, a behavior thought to help them shed their winter coats and alleviate insect bites. These wallows, often several feet deep and wide, collect rainwater, creating temporary wetlands that provide habitat for a variety of plant and animal species. These wallows, scattered across the prairie, increase the diversity of microhabitats within the ecosystem. They provide breeding grounds for amphibians, watering holes for birds and mammals, and a unique habitat for specialized plant communities. Bison trails, formed by the constant movement of herds across the landscape, also leave their mark on the prairie. These trails, often following the contours of the land, can evolve into well-worn paths that funnel rainwater, influencing drainage patterns and erosion rates. Over time, these trails can contribute to the formation of gullies and ravines, further shaping the topography of the prairie. Their dung, rich in nutrients, acts as a natural fertilizer, enriching the soil and promoting plant growth. As bison graze across the prairie, they distribute their dung, spreading these vital nutrients and contributing to the overall fertility of the ecosystem. The intricate relationship between the American bison and the prairie ecosystem highlights the delicate balance of nature. Bison have played a vital role in maintaining the health and biodiversity of the grasslands. This balance was disrupted by European settlers and the near extinction of the bison. The decimation of bison populations had a cascading effect on the prairie ecosystem. Through conservation efforts, bison populations are slowly recovering, offering hope for the prairie ecosystem. By the late 19th century, the American bison had been driven to the brink of extinction. The scale of the slaughter was staggering, driven by unchecked human greed. Where millions once roamed, only a few hundred remained, their future uncertain. The collapse was driven by a complex interplay of factors. The railroad expansion fueled the demand for hides and meat. The hide trade became a ruthless enterprise, leaving carcasses to rot. The U.S. government encouraged the slaughter to subdue Native American tribes. This devastated Native American communities, disrupting their way of life. The loss was an ecological disaster and a cultural tragedy. The decimation had a profound impact on the prairie ecosystem. Without bison, plant communities changed and wildfires became more frequent. The near extinction of the bison is a stark reminder of our interconnectedness. The fight to save the bison. Amidst the tragedy of near extinction, a glimmer of hope emerged from a small group dedicated to saving the species. These early conservationists laid the groundwork for a remarkable conservation success story. William Temple Hornady, a taxidermist, became a vocal advocate for bison conservation. His 1889 report exposed the bison's decline and called for action. George Bird Grinnell used his platform to rally public support for conservation. Grinnell founded the American Bison Society in 1905. Early efforts focused on protected herds in zoos and private ranches. Yellowstone National Park provided refuge for one of the few remaining wild herds. The road to recovery. The path to recovery for the American bison has been long and arduous. The conservation of this iconic species stands as a testament to human intervention and nature's resilience. The bison story offers hope for the future of conservation. Captive breeding programs provided a genetic reservoir to rebuild wild populations. Conservationists began reintroducing bison to their native habitats. National wildlife refuges and parks were established for bison conservation. The Fort Peck Indian Reservation became pivotal for bison restoration. The Fort Peck herd thrived, aiding reintroduction efforts across the Great Plains. The restoration of bison to tribal lands is significant for both ecological and cultural reasons. Conservation efforts and challenges today. Despite the significant progress made in restoring bison populations, challenges remain in ensuring the long-term survival of this iconic species. Habitat loss, disease, and the ongoing debate over the role of bison on the landscape continue to shape conservation efforts today. Addressing these challenges requires collaboration between conservationists, ranchers, tribal nations, and government agencies, all working together to find solutions that balance the needs of humans and wildlife. Habitat loss remains a significant threat to bison conservation. The vast prairies that once supported millions of bison have been fragmented by agriculture, urban development, and energy development. This fragmentation isolates bison populations, making them more vulnerable to disease and genetic isolation. Disease transmission from cattle is another ongoing concern for bison conservation. Brucellosis, a bacterial disease that can cause abortions in cattle and bison, has been a particular challenge. While bison can carry the disease without showing symptoms, it can be transmitted to cattle, leading to economic losses for ranchers. Finding ways to manage brucellosis in bison populations while minimizing conflicts with livestock grazing is an ongoing area of research and management effort. The role of bison on the landscape also sparks debate. While conservationists celebrate the ecological benefits of bison grazing, some ranchers view them as competition for livestock or worry about potential damage to fences and crops. Finding ways to coexist with bison, such as through innovative grazing practices or financial incentives for ranchers who conserve bison habitat, is crucial for ensuring the long-term success of conservation efforts. The American bison, once teetering on the brink of extinction, stands today as a symbol of hope and a testament to the power of conservation. From a low of a few hundred individuals in the late 19th century, the bison population has rebounded to an estimated 500,000 today. This remarkable recovery is a testament to the dedicated efforts of conservationists, ranchers, tribal nations, and government agencies, all working together to bring this iconic species back from the brink. The success of bison conservation can be attributed to a multifaceted approach that includes habitat preservation, captive breeding programs, reintroduction efforts, and ongoing research and management. The establishment of national parks and wildlife refuges dedicated to bison conservation provided crucial safe havens for the species to recover, while captive breeding programs ensured the preservation of genetic diversity. The reintroduction of bison to tribal lands has been particularly significant, restoring not only the ecological role of the bison, but also its cultural and spiritual importance for Native American tribes. The bison's recovery, while still a work in progress, offers a beacon of hope for other endangered species and demonstrates the potential for human intervention to reverse the tide of extinction. The bison's return to the landscape is not just an ecological victory, but also a cultural resurgence. For Native American tribes who have long held a deep spiritual connection with the bison, its return represents the restoration of a sacred bond. The bison's presence on tribal lands provides not only economic opportunities, but also a renewed sense of cultural pride and a tangible link to their ancestors. While the recovery of the American bison is a conservation success story worth celebrating, challenges remain in ensuring the long-term survival of this iconic species. Habitat fragmentation, disease management, and the ongoing debate over the role of bison on the landscape continue to shape conservation efforts today. Addressing these challenges requires a collaborative approach, balancing the needs of humans and wildlife in a rapidly changing world. One of the most pressing challenges facing bison conservation is the loss and fragmentation of their habitat. The vast, intact prairies that once supported millions of bison have been converted to agriculture, urban areas, and energy development. This fragmentation isolates bison populations, limiting their ability to move freely across the landscape and increasing their vulnerability to disease and genetic isolation. Disease transmission from cattle, particularly brucellosis, remains a concern for both bison and cattle ranchers. Finding ways to manage brucellosis in bison populations while minimizing conflicts with livestock grazing is crucial for ensuring the coexistence of these two species. Research into brucellosis vaccines and management strategies continues to be a priority for bison conservationists and wildlife managers. The role of bison on the landscape also sparks debate. While conservationists celebrate the ecological benefits of bison grazing, some ranchers view them as competition for livestock or worry about potential damage to fences and crops. Finding ways to coexist with bison, such as through innovative grazing practices, financial incentives for ranchers who conserve bison habitat, and open communication between stakeholders, is essential for ensuring the long-term success of conservation efforts. The story of the American bison is a powerful reminder of the interconnectedness of all living things. From the brink of extinction to a remarkable recovery, the bison's journey highlights the resilience of nature. The bison's return to the grasslands serves as a symbol of hope and a testament to the power of collective action. For Native American tribes, the bison is a symbol of their cultural heritage and spiritual beliefs. The story of the American bison offers a glimmer of hope and reminds us we have the power to make a difference. The future of the American bison rests on our continued commitment to conservation. By supporting organizations dedicated to bison restoration, advocating for policies that protect their habitat, and learning more about this magnificent creature, we can all play a role in ensuring that the bison's thunder once again reverberates across the North American landscape. Supporting organizations dedicated to bison restoration is crucial for providing the funding and resources needed to continue their vital work. These organizations work tirelessly to protect and expand bison habitat, manage disease, conduct research, and educate the public about the importance of bison conservation. Advocating for policies that protect bison habitat is essential for ensuring their long-term survival. This includes supporting legislation that promotes sustainable land management practices, reduces greenhouse gas emissions, and protects wildlife corridors that allow bison to move freely across the landscape. Educating ourselves and others about the American bison is a powerful tool for fostering appreciation and support for their conservation. By learning about their natural history, their ecological importance, and their cultural significance, we can become better stewards of this iconic species. Sharing this knowledge with others, whether through personal conversations, social media, or supporting educational programs, can help to inspire a new generation of conservationists.